Hello and welcome to Cyber Career Differentiators Connecting with Leadership. This video is a short take based on the live session held on August 12th, 2021. My name is Julie Chapman. I am an information security leader and military veteran with over 20 years of experience in the federal government and the private sector. My expertise includes risk management, cybersecurity strategy, and policy. I am energized by giving back to the cyber community by presenting these sessions every month. Cyber Career Differentiators is a 5-part series focused on the business acumen and soft skills needed for cyber career success. In April, I hosted a session around communication and all the ways that communication skills or the lack thereof can make or break a cyber career. In May, I held focus and problem solving, and that was a session specifically around how your workplace mindset influences what you choose to focus on at work, which in turn impacts your approach to problem solving, and all of the ways that those 3 things can make or break a cyber career. In June, I hosted To Cert or Not to Cert, and that was a lively discussion because there are very strong opinions about whether cyber professionals need certifications, a degree in cyber, both, or neither. During that session, I also shared where to look for cyber roles and the possibilities for pay and other resources. That session was so popular that I repeated it in July. In July, I also hosted Understanding the Business, and that session was connected to this one. Both understanding the business and connecting with leadership are tied to the ways that your activities as a cyber professional should align with the mission, goals, and objectives of the business or organization you're in, as well as concerns that your leadership has. Connecting with leadership is an important topic for having a great cyber career. And I've been in the life for a little while. So I figured out these 3 buckets that relate directly to connecting with leadership: managing up, situational awareness, and delivery. The nice thing about this session when it's live is you can get straight talk. The first thing to know about managing up is that leaders are people. That means they have good and bad days. They have variable energy levels. They definitely have emotions. They have preferences as far as how they like to do things, how they like to receive information, and how they like to give information, among other things. Leaders also have concerns and ambitions. They are entirely human, just like the rest of us. Whether or not you're a manager in your business or organization, you do have leadership experience. I asked the attendees to think about a time where they were a leader outside of work, and that could mean in a classroom, for example, a group project, or being in charge of a certain aspect of the project. That's leadership. Could be community service, volunteer groups. Maybe you planned an activity or led some sort of session for a volunteer group. Perhaps in your family, you're the eldest sibling or the eldest cousin. Maybe you helped plan the family reunion or planned it outright. Maybe you planned a doctor visit for a relative or a parent. Either way, if you consider your personal life, you've probably had to lead something. So I asked the audience to think about that and then think about the person that made it really, really difficult. And we got some interesting responses. So, people that make leadership difficult tend to be non-responsive, to feedback. They tend to be argumentative. Sometimes they're passive aggressive, promising that they'll get something done by a certain time and then you don't hear from them. And they're definitely not solutions oriented. Conversely, people that make leadership easy tend to be very communicative. They're open to feedback. They give feedback. They anticipate needs. They're helpful. And they're focused on solutions. So after the audience helped create this list, I asked them to think about their behavior at work and think about the times that they have been in the A+ column or in the F column. If you are argumentative, if you are not about solutions, if you do not deliver, if you do not participate in the feedback loop, eventually management will get tired of asking you for things and they'll bypass you. And then you'll see your colleague who is in the A+ column bypass you in terms of promotions and projects. That's important. So sit with that for a moment and think about your behavior at work. Are you consistently on the right side or on the left? The next thing I did is I played this video, and it's a good video explaining what managing up is.
Have you heard of managing up? What does it mean? Managing up refers to learning how to work within the confines of an organization to get what you need, while helping your boss and the organization meet their objectives. It's about managing your boss to get the resources that you need for your people to be successful. I've been working for many years, but I only come across these terms managing up these few years. It sounds so simple in theory, isn't it? But it's the execution that many people get stumbled upon. So today I'm going to help you to navigate safely and swiftly through the ups and downs of your world at work. The key to master the art of managing up is to place yourself into your boss' shoes. You need to see things from his perspective. I'm not asking you to brown nose or bootlick your boss, but this skill is important because it helps you to grow in the organization. Ask yourself, how can I better serve my boss? What are the things that I can help to leave out some things on his plate so that he can work on some higher level stuff? What steps can I take to improve the working relationship with my boss? The bottom line, think about what you can do to make your boss look better in the eyes of his boss and also the other key stakeholders. Remember, when your boss looks good, you look good as well. You have to understand that managing up is not about brown-nosing, becoming your boss favorite, or manipulation. Nope, not that TV dramas they've been watching. Managing up is such an important topic, but very rarely people talk about it. As you think about succeeding at work, remember to build a strong relationship with your boss and other key stakeholders. I have seen my colleague from other team that is very good at managing their boss that their boss is not worried at all after a project is assigned to them. And guess what? We went into this company at the same time, on the same day, but she got the promotion that she wanted and a raise. So that's what I learned as well. So in short, ask yourself how can best serve your boss and also let your team member to manage you as well. I hope you learned something today. Follow my account and wish you all the best.
So managing up is about being positive, being solutions focused, anticipating roadblocks and mitigating those that are in your power to do so, communication, teamwork, and regard for your boss's perspective. But let's look at something else. Let's see what managing up is not. Managing up is not taking over. if you have a manager, and that is the role that person plays. Even if you think you should be the manager, or you think you're smarter than the manager, you're not it. So don't act like that. Next is giving unsolicited advice to your leader. And it's very hard because a lot of folks in cyber are very information and data driven and really love to share. So one thing you can do is say, I have a perspective that I'd like to put on the table when it comes to topic X. Is it okay if I chat with you about it? Is it okay if I share my ideas? Managing up is not focusing on your boss's quirks or weaknesses and kind of setting up your boss to react in a way where you can kind of obtain the high ground, right? It's definitely not kissing up. Don't do these things. They are not managing up. We had an interesting conversation as to whether or not kissing up or ingratiation is a good career strategy during the live session. So situational awareness, very simply, it's understanding a few things: industry trends, the org chart, organizational history, and what the business areas and your leadership care about most. So industry trends. Three major sources are news alerts, industry groups on social media, and then the associations and professional organizations. Associations and professional organizations will typically have a membership fee, and it's possible that your business or organization might pay that for you. It depends on your level and their rules and policies. Industry groups on social media, those are usually free. LinkedIn groups, topic focus groups. But the thing is, the news alerts are the best because with the news alerts, those are instant. And the other two groups here still have to look at the news to get their information. So going straight to the source, i.e. the news alerts, work best. Google.com/alerts is a good source. You set up keywords, and then every day you'll get an email with several headlines related to those keywords. This will take you 5 minutes. You open up the emails, and then you read the headlines and double click on anything that's of interest. If you do this for at least 5 days straight, by then you will be current in your knowledge about what's going on in the industry that affects your business or your organization. You'll be able to have meaningful conversations with the higher ups. You will be a better solutioner if you know what is going on in the industry. This is an FBI org chart. I am not revealing state secrets here. This is publicly available at doj.gov. So I was a cybersecurity professional in the FBI for a number of years. I've done some project work with Resource Planning Office in my role as a cybersecurity professional. I've done some insider threat casework with Inspection Division. I was embedded in Criminal Investigative Division doing some programmatic work. The Directorate of Intelligence is where I got my start in cybersecurity, so I will never forget DI. And as a cybersecurity professional, I've done some liaison work with IT Management Division, IT Engineering Division, and IT Services Division. And this is all under the Information and Technology branch. And as a cybersecurity professional, I worked out of Security Division. Now, there are two reasons for knowing about the org chart. One is related to what we're talking about, connecting with leadership. The other one is a little more selfish, so I'll start with that one. Let's say there's a reorganization of where these divisions and branches sit. And Security Division ends up under Human Resources branch, hypothetically, instead of having a straight line to the Associate Director. Could that change things in Security Division? It could. Could the training money budget shrink a bit? Possibly. Could the politics change for the worse? Yeah, they could, right? And let's say all of these hypotheticals happen, and I'm getting uncomfortable in Security Division. I'm not liking it, but I don't know that there are opportunities in this branch, in these divisions. I don't know that I could work here in Operational Technology Division, in the Science and Technology branch. I don't know about opportunities in the Cyber Division. And I don't know about opportunities in the DI because I have not taken the time to explore the way my organization, the FBI, is constructed and how things work. The opposite is true. If I know about that, then I can start networking and see, find my way out of security division since I don't like it anymore. So that's the selfish reason. The other reason to know about the org chart is related to your performance. If you are solutioning and you're not aware of what any of these other folks care about or how things work, at best, your solution could be myopic. At worst, it could cause more problems. You could develop a solution that's actually a problem. So when we're talking about knowing the org chart, we're being very intentional about knowing who's who, knowing the business areas, knowing the communication flows and the work paths, how things get done and who does them, and then how your activities relate to that. And then of course, career mobility. So we pivoted to organizational history, and this is really interesting. Those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it, right? Of course. Organizations are no exception to that. So historical documents are a great source of organizational history. I like to search the company name plus the word lawsuit in Google and have fun reading, Social media posts are good for information. The internet never erases anything. And my favorite way of getting organizational history are from folks that have been in the organization for a long time. They love to tell you their stories. It's almost therapeutic for them. And if they see that you're really interested, they may take a liking to you and you may get a mentor out of the relationship. It's a win-win. So things that the business areas care about, right? You got to know what their products and services are. What are their outputs? What are they responsible for doing? How do they do it? And then what is the relevance of your work to their business? In the session, I asked two questions. The first one was, how can you tell which parts of the business or organization leadership views as important or a high priority? And then the next question was, how can you tell that your business or organization's leaders are concerned or worried about something? And we got some really interesting answers that were consistent with what you see here. Basically, if something is important, it'll be in the annual goals and objectives. There will be metrics around it. It may appear consistently in emails and newsletters. It may be tied to performance reviews. It may be bullet points and metrics in the performance system and the performance reviews. Something that's important will have adequate funding and more than enough staffing levels to make sure it's a success. Now, when something is like a hot potato and people are worried about it, you'll see money and staff thrown at it. You'll see increased urgent messaging. There'll be out of cycle company-wide meetings and a lot of business and department meetings. If you use your eyes and ears, you can tell what's important and then what has become important on an urgent basis. We talked that through in the session. Delivery is doing your job. This is really simple. Do your job, not the job you think is cool. A lot of us in cyber will work diligently on things that we think are cool, and those things may or may not have a connection to business outcomes. That is a very dangerous game to play at work, so I don't recommend it. Solutioning and communication. These are very critical ingredients, so critical that there are separate cyber career differentiator sessions around these topics. Please be on the lookout for the next live sessions. Working well with others is very important. You want to be able to be seen as a team player, and you want to be one. So now we had some straight talk, right? And this involves understanding exactly how leaders see things. The first thing is people do not tell leaders the complete truth. A lot of people hide negative information from leaders, or they embellish or touch it up with paint, right? So sometimes when you see a leader making an inexplicable decision, like they didn't know, right? It's probably because they don't. Leaders have a less granular view than the people they lead. So you have a closer view of things than your leader does. Leader is kind of floating on top. Now, the last one involves some straight talk because it can get quite dark. I mean, quite toxic. Depending on the organizational cultures, leaders don't tend to focus on inner workings. They tend to focus on outcomes. Kind of like, I don't care how the sausage is made, I just want the sausage. Now, depending on the organizational culture, once again, this can create a toxic environment below the leader as people elbow each other out of the way, take things from each other, take ideas, exclude people, all kinds of toxic behavior, all because everybody knows the leader doesn't care how things get done. They just want it done. So you got to be on the lookout for that. And you have to be careful about the organizations you join, because culture will affect your journey and your career path and your personal life, your mental health and wellness. This is more straight talk. There are untrustworthy leaders that are not good for you. And here are some, key red flags that you might see. A leader that watches the clock. What time did you get here? What time did you go to the bathroom? What time did you get back from lunch? What time did you log on? I got to tell you, as a leader, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about, are you in the meetings that you're supposed to be in, and are you delivering? That's it. Leaders that are afraid of the leaders above them, the cowering, they will throw you under the bus. When things go right, it's because of their leadership. When things go wrong, it's because of the people that they are leading. And that leads into the blame game. Same deal, right? Passing the buck. A leader who's dismissive of your concerns is definitely suspect. And last but not least, a leader who moves the goalposts, definitely a problem. So you have to think about this. You have to think about, your career strategy and when enough is enough for you. Because there are 3.5 million unfilled cyber roles. So you don't have to suffer. This was a really great session. We stayed on the line for a while, having a lot of candid chat and straight talk. It's really good. What I'm going to do is going to recycle these sessions. I will offer all of these sessions again in the near future, so please be on the lookout for them. If you have any questions at all, please email cybercareerdifferentiators@gmail.com. I hope to see you in one of the live sessions. Please remember to click like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.